Hey guys, Just from Stark Skincare here. I've been a little bit nervous about filming this video, and I didn't actually intend on doing it right now, but I was just having like a good dialogue with myself as I was just grocery shopping. I was like, okay, you know what? I just need to sit down and film it while it's still fresh in my mind, but not, you know, so fresh that I'm still like feeling the direct impacts of it. And that, you know, I never really prepare for my videos anyways, so it'll be okay to just do this on the fly, even though I just feel a little bit more acutely than usual that I'm going to be scrutinized for what I'm about to say, which is okay. I don't I don't think that there's anything wrong with scrutiny. I don't think that that's the issue at hand. I'm just a little bit nervous because of some drama that happened this week that if you follow me on Instagram, maybe you're aware of and maybe you're not. I was really upset on Monday. I don't want to go through the exact details of like, and this happened, and this happened, this person said this, and blah blah blah, because I don't want to be gossiping. I don't want to be feeding into the drama, because I was accused by someone of just loving drama and of just doing what I've been doing with the Ungreen movement simply to create drama because it entertains me. So I don't want to be explaining the story of the drama. However, just as I'm discussing this, I probably will mention, you know, a few details here and there because I don't really know how I can perfectly avoid it. And I am not a perfect human being, not even remotely close. I know there's no shocker there, but you know, I sort of felt like I did get attacked this week by someone because I did not, you know, act perfectly in her eyes to the situation or quick enough, and that, you know, that was grounds for not publicly but privately mocking me and of, you know, officially breaking up with me as a friend, even though, I mean, friend and friendship might be strong words to say in this context. It's a very casual work relationship. I mean, this isn't someone who I've spent time with privately, or, you know, I have met her in real life, but anyways, it doesn't matter. It's like an online friend kind of thing in the industry. And I don't know if I've ever had someone just officially break up with me like that, which hurt quite a bit. I mean, you know, it is a blow. It hurts your feelings. Ultimately, I got over it. I, you know, was able to see the actions, the words that were said for kind of what they were, because I do try to practice Stoic philosophy. I look at, you know, what I can change, what I may have done wrong, and know that that's all that I can focus on is what in my own actions can I improve upon, and that I can't control other people, and neither should I take their actions personally. So I am trying to, you know, embrace all of that. But the day of, I was extremely upset. The day of was my birthday, which was known. It was like, happy birthday, and this is what I think about you, which is cruel and strange. Anyways, like I said, I didn't really want to be getting into the details, but I just wanted to explain just kind of how I felt at the time that, you know, that I was sort of hurt. This is a reason why I haven't posted anything about Ungreen since Monday. Today is Wednesday, but I do have some stuff planned. Like, I have some more of these anecdotes. It was on my the first of my anecdote posts where things just went off the rails because one person didn't agree, and I was so excited that someone didn't agree with my Ungreen movement, because, you know, it's good whenever you're having like a movement of sorts, when you're kind of rebelling against something. You need to be hitting up against something, and here I thought that the one person who decided to voice their concerns or like, you know, what they thought didn't really make sense with the movement, I totally thought it was someone who would be able to keep up the debate. I don't even know why someone would go into it, you know, knowing that you're on my platform and therefore I'm probably, I mean, there's probably going to be a bias towards people agreeing with me than disagreeing because it's my followers. Like, I am not blind to that fact that, you know, and I don't think other people should be either. If you're going to be like, oh, this is what you believe in, I don't see it. I don't understand. It's a non-issue, and just sort of start mocking it, that you're gonna have to keep up with, you know, with the rebuttal. And it just didn't happen. For less than 24 hours, that thread was up. There was some amazing points where people were essentially like, you know what, actually we are not being heard in this industry. And I know that. That's why I'm starting Ungreen, because I know that so many of you, so many of us aren't being heard. And it's not like, oh, you know, we want black jeans, not blue jeans. This is like a health and wellness issue where people feel like their needs are not only not being met, but not being heard, and being mocked and being shamed and feeling guilt. And to have those feelings thrown back at us is exactly the point. That is exactly what we are trying to show is a big part of the issue. People do not feel heard, understood, or represented in something that they want to feel heard, understood, and represented in. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like, well, that product's not for me, so I don't care, I'm just gonna ignore it. You know, like, I don't care about contact lens solution. I'm not gonna start like crying at the contact lens solution industry that I'm not being represented. I don't need it. But like, if someone wants to be engaged with the beauty industry or indie beauty or with green beauty, and they're just being told that what they need, what they want, that their side of things, that their point of view is like stupid and irrelevant, then obviously there's going to be some backlash. But the point that I was trying to make was just shown right there. It was like, I'm saying people are feeling bullied. And then someone says, yeah, right, I don't think you're actually feeling bullied. And then people say, actually, I do feel bullied. That's no reason to be like, I've been attacked, and like, fuck you for not doing anything about that. I'm never supporting your brand again, goodbye. That just shows me that exactly what we are up against is very real. You know, and it could be argued that this isn't an important issue, but I think that it goes far beyond green beauty, and this does not give power to like the conventional beauty movement, or beauty movement, whatever, like, industry's not a movement anymore. It doesn't give them any power. Green beauty is so powerful. I don't think I could have had this conversation 7 or 8 years ago, and I did not stand for this 7 or 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago, I was still saying like, hey, don't use baby powder, that's dangerous. Do you know what they were putting in that? Like, and then lo and behold, they're sued many, many years later. But the conversation has changed, and it shocks me that so many of us steeped in the industry are still afraid to talk about that. The issues are now about vulnerable groups who still feel completely exposed and vulnerable. So that's why this is more expensive, that this is more than just looking at what's happening in green beauty. This is looking at what's happening in the world, that all kinds of groups are just gaslighted by more privileged groups who just don't get it. It's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of caring. It's like, well, I'm not here for that, so shut up, you guys. You know, and it's, this is not just one person I'm talking about, obviously. It's just that it was just one person that came up against, you know, the argument or the conversation I was having in my feed. It's obviously not just one person. This is many, many people. These are many brands. These are bigger brands with money. Money is power and voice and, you know, traction in things. You know, that sucks, because I have a very small following, you know, and I'm just trying to do what I can. And it might be because my brand has remained small yet kind of powerful-ish for its size. I like to think so anyways. I mean, it may be just, I'll just hold that illusion that maybe I have some kind of pull or power, because I don't want to feel like my life's work is just for nothing, you know? Oh God, there's so many like details about like the actual argument that I would love to talk about, because it's obviously still bothering me, but like I'm not gonna go there, because actually I don't like gossip, and actually I don't like drama, and it's almost ironic to me, because like to know like the story of my family and like how triggering that is, I can't get into it, but like whew, it's a private joke I'm having with myself, and that like anybody who knows me really personally, like, you know, like my in real life friends might understand sort of like where I'm coming at, that I really like, that couldn't be further from the truth for me. But something that is true for me is that I've always stood up to bullies my entire life. I have been bullied, I have been traumatized, and beyond that, I have witnessed some horrible, horrific abuse that no one should ever have to bear witness to. And I can name 1,000 faults that I have, but one fault that I do not have is the inability to stand up for underdogs. And I'm feeling a little bit emotional. It's so ingrained in me that I can't back away from something that I believe in. And maybe this is stupid, but like I said, I feel like it's bigger than what it seems to be on the surface. This is about basic rights in some ways. If you look at this as not being green beauty, but if this being health and wellness and accessibility to food and clean water and clean air and education and, you know, clothing warm enough for, you know, the environment that you live in, then that makes a difference, right? I mean, I don't think that green beauty has to be a purely privileged industry, which I know that a lot of other brands and a lot of people in this feel like it just inherently is a privileged industry. It's a privileged kind of product. If you are living off of food stamps, then you're not concerned about, you know, your skincare. That may or may not be true. I mean, you can't decide, you know, what someone living in poverty is going to decide is important for them, you know? At the end of the day, they are human, and if they want to be taking better care of their skin, then that is their prerogative, right? And you know what? No one's gonna die if they use some, you know, generic lotion. It's true. If someone can only afford canned food or processed food as opposed to fresh food, then that is a problem. And I see green beauty as being a reflection of what's going on in health and wellness and in food. So when you can change something like the beauty industry and the conversations that happen around here, then I really believe that you can change conversations going on in other industries. And if we choose to have a blind eye about issues going on here, then where else do we choose to be blind? So this is something that I believe in. It's not the most important issue in the world, but it's something that is close to my heart, and it's somewhere where I have a tiny little bit of influence. And so I'm gonna do what I can to speak for a group that feels unheard, because I am that person too. There's so many good ideas coming up around Ungreen. These ideas of, you know, what is guilt? What is shame? Is guilt and shame, is shame our fault? If we're feeling shame, is it because we're immature? If we feel guilt about choices that we make based on images that we keep seeing, is that our fault? Or is that the structure of society? Is that the structure of what social media tells us that we should or shouldn't be? And who's responsible for that? Is it content creators? Is it us? Is it brands? Is it the people who launch these social media sites? Is it the way advertising works now? Like, what is it? What is it? And is it is it okay to be saying that guilt is your fault? I don't think it is. Is it a child's fault if they feel guilt or shame for shit that their parents put on them? It's not. And if that same adult has never gotten rid of those feelings or like has ever really examined them, and even if they have, that stuff doesn't disappear. I think that, you know, it's a privilege to grow up without guilt and shame, in a sense, and that, you know, any child who has grown up not affluent, maybe with a single parent or, you know, on welfare or whatever, they feel an extreme amount of guilt and shame, and that is not their fault. And whenever they grow up and they still always feel like they are just falling short and are constantly reminded of how they are falling short, or a kid who doesn't get like the grades in school, you know, that their parents expect, when you don't live up to other people's expectations, that's fucking triggering. You know, and it's not okay. I mean, this isn't something that's going to be fixed by just, you know, posting pictures of cellulite on Instagram. But to be gaslighting one another when we're supposed to be a community, like, that's not cool at all. That's not okay. So I am up for debate. I am up for having a conversation. So I'm going to keep posting about Ungreen, and, you know, if people don't understand where we're coming from, or if people see it differently, or have different solutions or ideas, whatever, I so want to hear it. I was accused of sort of creating an echo chamber, which is ironic because isn't that what everyone's doing on their social media? Like, we're not really having people who hate us and disagree with us and think all of our ideas are stupid, like, hanging around. Like, so, I mean, I lost a bunch of followers because of Ungreen, but I've also gained followers. And then, I mean, those are the people that I don't want to be engaging with, those people because they agree with me, but I want to be building up a community who are like-minded so that, you know, in our numbers, that we can actually make a change, so that we can pinpoint what it is that we want to do. Because this is something I'm really struggling with right now is, you know, what is my end goal with it? And I don't know yet exactly. So, you know, this is something that I'm going to keep working on, and I feel like it's very important, and I don't want to have a bunch of gaslighters on my feed, but I do want people who are interested in having this conversation, like for real, like actually interested in having this conversation, and who don't feel like they need to be defended. You know, if your points aren't perfect. No one's asking anyone to come up with the perfect argument here. Certainly my argument about Ungreen is not perfect. And so far the only arguments I've had against it were also not perfect, which is fine, you know? But I'm just hoping that, you know, people can engage in a respectful way that can actually become productive. And in the end, if someone is going to be cruel to me, and be like, happy birthday, and you're a bitch, basically, you know, that's fine. It's just goodbye. You know, not everyone in Green Beauty is going to be my cup of tea, and that's totally cool. I know who I can trust, you know. I'm starting to learn that, and that's good. That's, you know, one thing that I've learned about this is that it's okay to feel bad if someone is making you feel bad, and then it's good to take what you can from it. So I feel like I have learned a few things about this, and I'm still a little bit bothered, like, to be honest, because I mean, this is only 2 days ago, but I'm not hurt the way I was. Like, I cried pretty hard, like, in the bathtub on my birthday night, because not so much like things that were said, because it's like, in the end, it's like, you don't know me. You don't know anything about my life. Like, you can say that I did this wrong or that wrong, but, like, you know, it's just like we're from two different worlds, you know? And, you know, I was like crying so hard that like my son came in the bathroom and was like, Mama, you're making me sad. Like, it was just like really shitty, and it's just like, you know, like, ugh, anyways, I didn't want to get into the details, but I do feel like YouTube is sort of become more of my safe space than Instagram has, which is a little bit odd. I just feel like if someone's gonna sit here and listen to me talk for 15-20 minutes, then there's a genuine connection there, as opposed to someone who just like reads my posts, gets offended by something, retaliates, doesn't like the way, like, you know, like the conversation doesn't go their way, thinks the whole thing is flawed, says fuck you, and just erases the whole thing. So you know, not that there aren't trolls everywhere, but I just feel like if you're gonna listen, then, you know, that I think that it's just going to be a more respectful type of environment. So yay, YouTube. And yeah, I'm definitely not done with this. I'm gonna keep going. I just sort of needed to talk this out a little bit, just almost like as therapy. Okay, have a good week, you guys. Bye. Thanks for listening.